Welcome to the Soft Life of Chrystal and Megan.
Your lifestyle show redefining success one soft, abundant choice at a time.
And if you like our work, please do support us at ko-fi.com/softlifenyc.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. We have such a fun guest today. Bree Groff is a writer. She just came out with her first book. Oh my God. Today was fun. A book about work. Seriously.
That's
I love this cover and I love this color.
Thanks.
It's like so vibrant and fun and it's like work and fun.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're so excited to talk about this. Congratulations.
Yay, thank you.
Came out in July.
You. Yes, it did.
So thank you so much for being here. Let's just talk about how we first met. So we met a while ago, a good few years ago in Kingston. No, we didn't. Not in Kingston. In the grill.
Yeah.
Jamaica.
Uh-huh.
I know you're jealous already.
So jealous.
Sipping cocktails. And I was like, she's so cool, interesting. And then we just like connected. Actually, I think our daughters connected first, maybe.
I think it's like the kids play first. And I'm like, oh, these parents look fun.
And then sometimes, like you might not necessarily connect with the parents, but it was like straight away connection. And then we meet up and we've gone to like theaters and dinners and like it's so, so nice. So for me, it's amazing to just see like all your work that you've put into this and your vision, which I think is just so awesome and true and honest and beautiful. And it's like out there and the cover looks amazing. So congratulations.
Thanks.
Congrats. Yeah. Okay, we have so many questions for you related to the soft life. You're like the soft life expert kind of.
I'm trying.
Okay. All right. Well, this quote you have really, really grabbed me. So you have a quote. This book is about joy for the sake of enjoying our finite days. Because if we're wishing away the work week, we're wishing away our lives. So that just like really stopped me. And you talk a lot about how we've lost the aspect of joy in work. So my question for you is, so many of us toiling away in New York City hate our jobs, but we do them because we want to live here because it's awesome, but it's expensive. Yeah. So for people whose jobs don't align with their sole purpose and their interests even, how do you bring joy into your workday?
Yeah. Well, the first thing is acknowledging our work doesn't have to be everything. So I'm definitely not pro do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life.
Okay.
That's a super high bar, really exhausting, makes a lot of people miserable. And also it breeds overwork because if you're following your passion, then it's like, why are you doing anything else? Why are you sleeping or eating? Why aren't you working all the time? The trouble, I think, is thinking about work only as a means to an end. Because I get it. Sometimes you just want to say, I'm here to do a job, and collect a paycheck. But the price of essentially paying 5/7 of your life each week, I think is too high. It's just too much to get through the week to enjoy then 2/7 of our lives.
Yeah, wow.
So then I pose the question, like, how can we make our Mondays through Fridays even just a bit more enjoyable? Like, how do we reclaim some of the humanity in those days? So the book isn't about how we restructure capitalism, although that might be nice too. It's more just about like, person showing up on a Monday. How can you make friends at work? How can you maybe like be a little bit less professional so you don't feel like you have to be so buttoned up all day long?
Oh, I love that.
How can you be a little bit more, like bring a little bit more creativity into your work? Because you only get so many Mondays.
Right.
After all. Like we're going to run out at some point.
Everyone hates Mondays, but like we're alive at least.
Yes, right? Like you're alive at least. And a lot of the book stemmed from me caring for my mother before she passed away of a cancer a few years ago. That was really the impetus for realizing, when you're sitting in a cancer center, all these doctors are doing are trying to save human days.
Yeah.
And then I talked to a friend from work who's like, oh, I can't wait for it to be Friday. When is this week going to be over?
Oh, wow.
And I thought, we've got it all wrong. If we are trying to like get through the week, and then at some point in our lives, we're going to wish we had more Mondays. So
oh my God.
Can we work on that now?
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. That seems like I was going to ask you a question about like the soft life and when did you realize you had to reassess things? But I think it's obviously like talking about your mum and then this like book came out of it as well. What about for people where they are in a job or they're trying to think about their next steps, but they're really not sure like what to do? Do you have any tips there that you think can recenter people?
Yeah. So one of my favorite questions is, do I want that prize? which I ask of myself, and I think we forget to ask of ourselves collectively when we're thinking about our next step or our next career move.
Yeah.
So I give the example of, imagine you're at a carnival and you're like shelling out 20s at balloon darts and you're like, I want to win, because you're like supposed to want to win. And then you do win. And then they give you this 5-foot teddy bear as a prize. And you're like, oh, I never wanted that prize. Like, I never bothered to see what the prize was.
Right.
And I think sometimes in our careers, we forget, like, if you are a lawyer and you're trying to work your way up through the ranks, the prize is to become partner and to get the bigger cases. But that prize also comes with a huge amount of stress, 100-hour week.
More work.
More work. A lot of times I'll ask people, do you want your boss's job? And they'll be like, oh, no.
Yeah.
And yet workplaces are generally designed to sort of tempt you up the ladder. And so I think the right question is, what's the prize I want to win? And sometimes the prize is like, I actually just want more time with my family. So maybe I don't want a promotion. I don't want to sort of exhaust all of my potential. Maybe if I can pay my bills, I'm going to chill a little at work and become better at my hobbies.
I love that as
I
well.
do too.
We've been thinking about that as well, haven't we? It's not always like more, right?
Yeah. And it also makes me think about this tale as old as time, which is like we all sort of like chase happiness, right? So happiness is like making partner or making more. But then so many people, like Dax Shepard talks about this all the time on his podcast. He just wanted to always be rich. And then he became rich and he like wasn't happier and it sucked, And it's like, maybe we all just need to like reassess like what happiness is, or
Exactly.
you said it, but I'm just.
I mean, like you look at someone like Elon Musk who never looks happy,
No.
I mean, he is obviously miserable, but
right. And so there's
a lot going on there.
Yes.
There's just like a lot going on there generally.
Yeah.
But definitely, $1 trillion is not going to make a person happy. And if it can't make it, it's not going to make any of us happy. And, there's some people in my life. There's this guy, Paul Millard, who's an author. He wrote The Pathless Path, who I really admire. Alice Catter, a friend who runs this platform called Out of Office. They both sort of like live this nomadic life with kids, like running around, creativity retreats in Tuscany. And I'm like, oh, I think they've won.
Yeah.
Like, I think they're doing something interesting and cool. And not that everyone has to live a nomadic lifestyle.
But that's interesting. Yeah.
But I like that they said to the sort of prescribed, here's how you become successful path, they were like, no thanks.
Yeah, that is interesting.
And I think that's really cool.
That is cool. You said something funny a bit ago about like professionalism.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of how at work in corporate settings there's this like jargon. You've also talked about jargon, like work jargon.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of nauseating. Like work jargon always made me sick. Like I just want to like talk like this, and I do. But why do you think people can't be casual at work? Why can't we talk? Not we, like my past jobs, I have been myself, but a lot of people feel like they can't be themselves and they can't just speak colloquially. Like, why is professionalism this like unnatural way of speaking for a lot of people?
Well, it's hard to show your full self.
It is. And it drives me crazy because it's really hard to enjoy ourselves if we don't feel like ourselves, right? Like, I'm not really belly laughing if I'm also trying to like suck in my stomach so my button down doesn't pop, It's a way of demonstrating our competence in a world where no one really knows what they're doing. And ironically, I come from the world of consulting, like company culture and employee experience consulting. It's usually the more junior employees who are more professional, who are overusing jargon because they sort of have something to prove. The more senior and more brilliant sometimes I see people get, the more they're like, look, I got the good ideas. Do you want them or not?
Right.
This is how you take me. And I think it's important because when we get dressed for work, like the fashion is one thing, but also it's this notion that you have to wear this business mask.
Yeah.
And speak so that you're going to have head nods in the room. Like, it's just exhausting. And it's just not necessary as well. Like, we're just trying to make our work look normal instead of make our work actually brilliant. So it's not good for the business. It's not good for us.
Oh, that's an interesting take too. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I'm like my craziest, most exciting ideas. Like, I don't know. Are they
trying to conform?
Exactly. It's like a method. It's a method of conforming.
And I wanted to ask you as well, because, me and Megan have started this journey because we're kind of coming from two different places, both in search of the soft life, right? So Megan has two amazing, beautiful young children. And to be able to get jazzed and excited about work was like a challenge. And for me, it was moving away from that kind of work addiction and it being so much of my identity. So firstly, do you relate to any of those perspectives, or have you at different points in your life? And also, what advice do you have for people in our position? We're like slowly working ourselves out of that, or we're being forced to, we've had to. But tell me about that.
Definitely relate. I think especially growing up, I was always an A student in front of the class doing my AP homework. If someone told me to do something, I just did it because I felt like that's what was expected of me. It wasn't like for fear of failure. It's not like my parents were totally on top of me. It's just like I felt this responsibility. And also, like, frankly, I enjoyed school and I enjoyed work. So it was very easy for me to overwork. And, in my 20s, like, it's kind of fine for me anyway, because I didn't have a partner then, didn't have kids. It was really when I started to have other things in my life that I needed to sacrifice in order to keep that up, that I was like, oh, no, thank you.
Such
anymore.
a good point. Yeah.
So, like, for example, I was reading my daughter Arden a bedtime story when she was maybe 4 years old, which should be such a beautiful moment, right? Like, you're in bed, you're cuddled up, like, oh, this is what dreams are made of. But I remember, like, I'm like, I know I have Slack messages I need to get back to.
Totally,
right? And so I'm like, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna turn 2 pages at a time.
Love that take.
Oh my God, such a good trick. Fucking bedtime lasts 100 years.
Right?
I like this trick.
Yeah, because it's like so many, like, book after book. And I'm like, she's not gonna care what the pigeon drives the bus. Like, the pigeon's gonna drive the bus. So I'm turning 2 pages at a time. And then she caught me.
Wow.
And she said, you're not doing your best.
Oh, wow.
Oh my
and
God.
I thought, like, way to be called out. Like, you're right.
That's definitely a soft life moment.
That is a call out too. You're not doing your best. Wow.
I know, because I was doing my best at work. I knew where my best was going.
Right.
And she was getting work's leftovers.
Right. Oh my God.
Like, what I have left. And it was such a moment of like, oh, I have this totally backwards.
Yeah.
Like, she is the good stuff in life.
Ugh.
And
I love that. That's like, right? That's such a, just makes you realize.
It's difficult as well.
It's so hard.
It is. And I get it. Like, for so many people, and for me, like, I felt like, well, I'm being asked to do these things at work. I'm going to try and do them. I actually just talked to a colleague yesterday who, a friend who said, well, she has meetings all day, and so she doesn't have time to work. So she wakes up at like 5:36 to do a few hours of work in the morning. Like, sometimes it feels like there's no other option. But I think that's part of the trick, is realizing that work is a bottomless pit. You're just never, it's never going to be like, oh, I've done it.
Yep.
And so, at least not in knowledge work anyway. And so sometimes we just have to cut ourselves off.
That's like, all that is like
that's
genius.
It.
Okay. Why do you think though that, like, so much of our identities are our work, right? In New York City, especially.
Oh my gosh, for sure. Yeah.
But can you like pinpoint why that's problematic exactly? Like, I had this, there was this designer, Cynthia Rowley. Do you know the designer?
Yeah.
I interviewed her once, and she had this awesome tip about how at parties, she throws a lot of parties, she never asks someone who she's meeting what they do for a living.
Yeah.
And I thought, I loved that. And I also don't like to ask people off the bat what they do, because it's like, then your identity of them is like preformed. Oh, I work at Google. I don't know.
Yeah.
But why do you think it's problematic to have your identity meshed with work?
Well, it's like having all of your life savings in one stock is maybe the easiest way for me to think about it, right? If that stock goes south, there goes your life savings.
Or you get laid off.
Right? Like, if your work is your identity, then like, did someone just take it from you or deny you it?
Yes.
And so I think a better way to think about it is more like a portfolio life. So I derive meaning and joy and satisfaction, like, definitely from work. I love work, wrote a book about it, but also my family, friends, my hobbies, exercise even. So if one thing goes away, like, I'm buffered. Like, that's why you would, make a portfolio in the first place. But I love the not asking someone right away. I think it's also a proxy for how fancy are you, which is sort of an icky
kind of rude, I think, actually.
Snobbishness. What do you do?
Yeah, it's like, are you
how much money do you
me?
make? Yeah.
Like, are you important? And like, what could we barter here?
I think it says more about the person than anyone else. And I used to go out of my way to ask people, what do you like to do when I used to get that? And for me, I'm not really interested necessarily in that. I want to know what's like behind the person. I don't know. I think it just you judge. It's more about the person that's saying it for me. And there's something about it that just feels really like hollow.
Yeah. And I'd rather ask someone like, how many coffees do you have a day? Like that's how you know.
If they
that's like my entry point into like, who are you? Not like, where do you work?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Exactly. So you're a transformational expert.
Yes.
And I want to talk about the workplace and like workplace culture. I mean, I know we could talk about this for ages, but you know, we're 3 mums, and obviously I would definitely say like paid paternity leave is like really important that employers should be doing for a whole year. But are there things that you think employers should be doing to make the workplace better for families or people wanting to plan, where you see companies that they're doing a really good job? Because, you know, things have changed so much now, right? People working remote and things like that. And, you know, it's quite tricky to also like log off, and it's blending too much into the home life. So is there something that you're seeing that employers are doing that's actually really working to make sure that work works for these parents or people family planning?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, for sure. So like policy things, but also things that leaders can do. Policy wise, the more that companies can create a default where people are taking their parental leave or family or FMLA, the better. So instead of saying like, employee, are you planning to take parental leave? No, it's like someone announces there's a baby coming, you know, if you're adopting, if you're a father, if you're not, automatically you're assumed to be out, right? Which is just like a small change in default, because otherwise people have to then ask for it. And then you're sort of presumed to be like, okay, I guess we have to accommodate. So like those sorts of defaults, other defaults, like especially as the leader, this is more of like a behavioral thing. Not slacking in the evening or emailing or sending Teams messages, do schedule send for the next day.
Yes.
Because that, you know, your people, it's like, it just feels like, oh, I got to ping. I have to look. I should look. So those sorts of top down, can we just make the default? We don't communicate after hours unless there's an emergency. I don't know, you're going to backup plan. And people are taking their leave. Another thing you can do, something my last consultancy called golden time, which is if you put golden time on your calendar, it's just I'm out. There's no questions asked. It can be for therapy. It could be to pick up your kid, but everyone has stuff that you sort of need to fit in. Yeah. And so just to have some sort of designation for I need to be out.
Golden time.
It gives you like a way in, or like a way to make it normal.
And just real quick, do people actually work harder for you and they're more there? Or have you noticed like stats, people take more advantage?
Oh, well, it's the leaders who presume their employees want to do a good job and are doing their best, get the best from their employees. Right. The only way it doesn't work is if you're like really trying to, like people know if like a boss or in a company is just trying to get the most from you as possible. And if you give them a little, they'll probably just take it, right? To sort of rebalance things.
Yeah.
Another thing, like return to office policies too. Like I've seen so many companies screw this up so badly where, you know, like people travel a lot for work, but then when they're in town, they're still required to be in the office like 4 or 5 days a week. It's just silly, you know? So if you were to give people, they're going to take it. I think the trick and the goal is, as like a leader or as the organization, your job is to take care of people and then they take care of you. It's just like a really simple exchange, or just like demonstrating that you actually want people to have good lives. It's so like really quite simple.
It really is. Yeah. Okay. What do you think in all your experience, and you've worked with so many corporations, what is the through line for someone who's a good leader? And can I give a little more context actually?
Yeah.
I'm asking this because I once had a boss who wasn't my direct boss, but she sort of oversaw everything. And she would always, like, not always, but in a meeting, if she didn't know something, she'd be like, I don't know. And I just like loved that because she didn't pretend to know everything. And I was just like, you're human, and that's so cool.
I want to add to that as well. You are a leader as well. You're an entrepreneur. You're started, taking over a company as well. So I think this is relevant for you too.
That's true. Yeah.
On that vein, I was thinking like, oh, they have to be like strategic and vision. But like at the simplest in terms of just being a cool people want to be around, something I call give no shits role models. Where do you ever know the people where maybe you two are these people where you just see someone who's just kind of themselves, right? Like, and you can get this vibe where like, I don't know, they're like sitting more comfortably or like they
totally a foot on a chair or something.
They're like, let's talk about those KPIs. right. And
oh my God, just, KPIs, it's just the jargon.
Yes, right. It just feels, or like my favorite boss ever was this woman, Shannon Schuster, and she was the first person that I knew. And this was in a school. So it was like very like, I don't know. And she swore all the time. All the time. Like I heard her say tits and ass one time in a meeting. I was like, where are we?
That's good to know. The amount of times I say bollocks in meetings.
Yes. But it made me feel like, oh, she gives no shits. And therefore, like if I want to be a little bit more myself, I think that's okay. Like she's modeled it. So like in the book, I swear a lot. I just talk how I talk now.
Right.
I was just like, I had some thoughts and I'm like, I'm going to put these on paper and make it into a book. That sort of permission giving for humanity, I think is so important. And it comes out in all the ways, right? Like in how you dress, how you speak, in what you laugh about. It's just sort of like, it's just life, right? Like business relationships are just personal relationships with paychecks. So like,
true.
Are you cool to hang around?
True.
It's just sort of
That's good to know as well, because sometimes if you are a bit sweary or whatever, you do think, oh, am I like setting a good example and stuff? Yeah. But I wanted to ask you a question about what you hear when people say personality hires, because where I used to work at a place, and there was a girl there who was bloody amazing, and she was so hilarious. And by the way, she was good at her job.
Okay.
But when she left, the culture died. And it was just like so boring, so dry and terrible. Do you think personality hires are like really important, or do you think it's like overstated?
Honestly.
Or is the term a terrible term?
It's a weird term, I guess. But because I don't want to diminish anybody's capacity. Like if she was really good at her job.
She was.
So my point of view really on why we work at a very meta level, it's like work is something that we do while we're hanging out on the planet. Mm-hmm. Like we're just here as humans. Like, I don't know, should we try and like make something that makes someone's lives better? It's kind of fun to make money. Do you all want to like hang out while we're doing it and try and build something together? Like at its simplest, it's that. And so when I think about how I want to optimize my work, I'm not optimizing for my paycheck or even my impact. Like I'm optimizing for having a good time with people I like, honestly. And that's it. Because that's what I believe matters in the end. When my grandfather was alive and would talk to him about his career, it was always like, surprise, surprise, it was the people that meant the most. So anyway, to bring it back to your question, I think if there is a person who lights up a workplace such that people are having better days, just hire that person.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea.
So just the last question that we want to ask you. Yeah. We always have a soft life challenge that we ask every guest who comes on, and we do it with each other as well. Is there a soft life challenge that you think that we should be thinking about in the audience?
Sure. First of all, I love your soft life challenges. Whenever I listen, I try and do that. Yes. Okay. Here is the challenge. Try a grandpa morning. Here's what this is. Try waking up in the way that you would envision your grandparents woke up. So my grandfather, for example, I knew him until he died at 96. So I had a good long time of visiting him, seeing him wake up. He didn't have a cell phone, so he just woke up. I imagine he looked out the window for a few minutes. He got up, took a shower, went downstairs, took his dog for a walk, made some coffee. It was like an hour at least before he turned on the news and looked at the newspaper, which is so different from me when I'm like, I wake up and I look at my phone and then I'm like, oh, so my husband's over there. Like,
right.
Like,
totally.
Good morning, right? I'm through 3 articles sometimes before I even like
and
say,
it's like dread, another ice raid, like Trump's doing something and,
oh my God. It's like,
awful.
it's just waking up with this threat detection of like, what emails are coming at me, what messages, like what terrible things happening in the world. Like you're just waking up in this state of like, where are the threats and how do I triage? So the challenge is to wake up in a way that you think your grandparents might have woken up, whatever that looks like for you. But probably there's no cell phones for the first 30 minutes, let's say.
Grandpa mornings. I feel like you need to like trademark that. That's like that should be a
It's true.
thing.
It's awesome.
That's so cool.
Maybe it could be a cereal.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Thank you so much for joining us.
That was amazing, Bree. I feel like you are the soft life and just like have cracked the code to living. Like honestly.
Totally. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
So your book,
So
like amazing. Everyone has to read it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to The Soft Life of Chrystal and Megan. If you like our work, please support us at ko-fi.com/softlifenyc. Hosting and executive production by me, Chrystal Genesis, and Megan O'Neill. Filming by Connor Kafia Chain at My Friend's Basement Studio. Editing by Rob Ashkenos and music by 4S Studios. Don't forget to subscribe and review our podcast on all podcasting apps and on YouTube at Soft Life NYC. See you soon.